Welcome to Open Your Reality, everyone. I'm Chad, and this is part 2 of the Dave Wise Flat Earth interview. So good to have you back, Dave.
Flat Earth again? Really? You want to lose all of your subs? Come on, man.
Oh, I think a lot of them dropped off, Dave.
Well, it's okay. You know, we're going to get into it, but Flat Earth is such a difficult subject for people that come across it without being prepared for a real slap. We call it flat smacking because literally when you hear about it for the first time, it's like getting a big smack in the face.
You know what it is? I think it's because, okay, the first time I ever heard of it, I thought that whoever suggested flat Earth, whoever believed in it, was stupid and crazy. And I was like, absolutely, there are people that believe the Earth is flat, but because I knew nothing about the flat Earth model.
Actually, I'm gonna correct you on that. You actually knew fake stuff about the flat Earth because they've programmed us to think that the flat Earth is a disc floating in space, that you can fall off the edge. They've programmed us into thinking, well, flat Earth wouldn't work because if you walk towards the edge, you'd have to lean forward because gravity's pulling you towards the middle. All fake stuff. This is all flat Earth society stuff. So the thing is, people that laugh at flat Earth have two things in common. One, they can't answer simple questions about the globe model. And two, what they believe the flat Earth model is insane. None of us believe that. So that's where most people come from. And it's all due to programming, intentional programming of our minds.
Yeah. And I think what happened is that on my channel, a lot of people came because I talk about simulation theory, but I also talk about spirituality a lot. Maybe you've seen some of the titles of my videos. So when I mention flat Earth, some of those people have no experience with it and they think it's just, an outrageous conspiracy theory. But I think that's the reason why a lot of people are so turned off so quickly, because they don't understand the model. They think the Earth is flat and there's some edge and you fall off and like, this is preposterous. Everybody knows the Earth's a globe.
Nonsense.
Look, you look up in the sky. Like, remember you said in your first interview, just because you see something round in the sky doesn't mean it's a three-dimensional sphere. It could be two-dimensional.
And even if it was, what difference does it make?
So what happens is that people, they don't understand the model. And I think if they understood the model, they would see it a little bit differently. That's right. My interpretation. But let me tell you something, that my girlfriend is completely against the flat Earth. My best friend, completely against it. They don't even really want to open their minds up to it. And I respect that because I think everyone, is whatever somebody wants to believe, that's fine. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, you can believe what you want to believe. And I guess what I want to start off with this is, we didn't really get much into the Bible, but I just put out a video talking about how, and I've heard it, I'm sure you know Eddie Bravo, or you've talked with Eddie Bravo, you heard him speak. Is that
all
right?
The time.
I think Eddie Bravo is very entertaining. And he was saying that how, in regard to the Bible, he completely dismissed it. And now he's come kind of 180 degrees and he's believing that some of the things in the Bible could be true. Because I know the Bible talks about the firmament and it talks about the earth being, I haven't seen those exact passages. I've seen the passages about the firmament, but not about the earth being flat. But do you have anything to say on that, about the Bible maybe saying that the earth is flat?
Well, the Bible not only maybe says the earth is flat, it says it over 200 times in all different verses, starting with page 1, Genesis, where it says God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament. And I think on day 4, it created the lights in the sky, a greater one for the day and a lesser one for the night, the sun and the moon, that are the same size. The heliocentric model says, the sun is 400 times bigger and 400 times farther. Nonsense. Okay. I'm not the Bible guy. My co-host, Matt Long, is the Bible guy. And matter of fact, just today, the day we're recording this, his channel, Woketown, one word, Woketown, on YouTube, he just put out a short video about how the Bible speaks truth and is speaking flat earth. It's really good. I think it's only like 5 or 10 minutes long. And I recommend people go to Woketown and check it out. He has tons of biblical stuff there. And also on my app, there's a button called Biblical Flat Earth that has a never-ending adding to playlist of biblical flat earth stuff. Even if you think the Bible is the dumbest thing in the world, you're anti-religion, I highly recommend you almost start with that button, because the information it'll show you will completely change your paradigm.
Wow. So, the Bible also says that the earth is between 6,000 and 7,000 years. What do you think about that?
When I used to hear, Christians, there's young earth, they think the earth is, 5,000 years old or whatever. I was like, oh my God, that's the dumbest thing ever. Dinosaurs prove that. Well, dinosaurs are a hoax. But I think if someone, someone said to me, all right, gun to your head, how old is the earth? And if you miss it by 500 years, you're dead. I'm going to pick something around that age, maybe less. All right. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But when you start looking into the history of this earth, when you start looking into Tartaria, you start looking into the myths that they tell us, the whole thing about dinosaurs is to make us believe this heliocentric Big Bang theory and evolution. None of that's true. Yeah, there were some giant lizards, but not that long ago. Maybe some of them are still alive, but there were no dinosaurs. The guy that that came up with the idea of dinosaurs in the 1800s, he was some royal guy, wrote a paper about theorizing that there was dinosaurs. Now, meanwhile, no one ever in history before him has ever discovered even a part of a dinosaur bone. No mentions, when the Egyptians built, supposedly built the pyramids, no mention in history of dinosaurs ever. This guy writes a paper. 1 year to the day, he discovers the first dinosaur bone.
Wouldn't we just be coming across dinosaur bones where, wherever we excavate, like they'd be all
everywhere.
Over the place?
Especially since they supposedly are what creates all the oil that we use. Those are all dinosaurs, right? Fossil fuels, ridiculous, right? It's all. There's so much nonsense in this world. Here's the thing. It's easier to fool somebody than to convince them they've been fooled because people's egos, they can't handle it. But when you finally realize that your entire foundation of your life is a lie, this spinning ball, if you're able to release that, let it go spiritually, let it go and reclaim your sovereignty, I can't say that word. Sovereignty, is that it? Sovereignty. Sovereignty. You reclaim your true power. You realize who you are, where you are, what you are, and take back your power. Everything gets better, right? Yeah, you were lied to. We all were lied to. We were all ignorant to the truth, and now we know the truth. All right, or now we know. At least we see the lie, and we're figuring out the truth. We live in a spiritual world. There's a war going on, and it's a spiritual war. They're fighting for our souls. They're trying to steal them with the soul lure system, and use the word simulation a lot. My best words for describing this place is a physical simulation. We live on this toroidal field, on this plane in the middle of a toroidal field.
So that kind of leads me into my next question, which is I saw one of the viewers, and I've thought about this too. Is the earth maybe a lot bigger than they're telling us it is? Because maybe that's why we're not seeing the curvature at 8, with the 8 inches per square, mile square.
Yeah. So they tell us that the diameter of the earth, the line from the center to the edge, is just under 4,000 miles. So if my arm is the diameter of the earth, right? So here's the center of the earth, my elbow. As you move it, this is the curvature of the earth, right? This is it's swiping out the curvature of the earth. So if the curvature, if the diameter, if the rate, I'm sorry, not diameter, the radius, wrong word, radius from the center of the earth to the edge. If the radius of the earth is just under 4,000 miles, that's the 8 inches per mile squared. But we can see things way farther. All right. And now with infrared, we can see things even super farther. Our optics have outgrown their lives so far. It's ridiculous. But the distances we can see would change that radius from 4,000 miles, less than 4,000 miles, to 250,000 miles. 250,000 mile radius. Now, if the earth is that much bigger, we have just as big as a problem as the earth being flat. Okay. It's not a ball. We're not spinning in space. There is no curvature, and the distances we can see would dictate a radius of over 250,000 miles versus the 4,000 that they say.
So if my math is correct, that would be about 62 and a half times bigger.
No. Is it 62 and a half? 250,000, 4,000. 5,000 goes into 100,000 20 times. 40. Oh, you're right. Look at you. 40. Yeah. Did you say 45 times bigger?
I said 62 and a half. 67
62. All right. You're right. Yeah. 62 times bigger. If the Earth is 62 times bigger or anywhere in that vicinity, wait, that's just some of the stuff we can see. I believe some of the infrared stuff would make it even bigger. Okay. It's not a ball. There is no curvature. Look at flat lakes. I mean, you can see that, we're not moving, all the physics, globers love using the word physics. They just don't use physics. Say, large bodies of water at rest lay flat. Bodies of water that are still are actually not moving.
Right.
Okay. They're flat. If water lays flat, it doesn't mean it lays on a curve. It means it's flat. Get a plate of water in a car and take a turn, drive down the road with the plate of water, like a dinner plate, fill it with water to the edge and see if you can hold it while the car takes a turn. Okay. Not going to happen. The water's going to slosh all over the place.
But you know what? Here, a lot of people say when I tell them that water is level, they say, but look at raindrops. They're round. Look at,
No, you have to say large bodies of water at rest lay flat. Anything bigger than a bucket of water. Okay. Right. But think about this. They say, well, on an airplane, you can drink a glass of water, and there's no problem with that. I say double the speed of the airplane, take the outside of the airplane off and sit out, because we're on the outside of the ball, and tell me how you do with your water then. Check this out. This is the hypersonic sled. Look at this. It's going to go by at Mach 8.4. You ready? Don't blink. Oh, you missed it. Okay, here it comes again. This is Mach 8.4. We are orbiting the sun 10 times faster than this in a curved trajectory. We are chasing the sun 90 times faster than this. Look at this.
That is pretty fast.
Did you see it? You can't even see it, right? And so you have to believe that we are moving these ridiculous speeds to believe in the helio-nonsensical model. So can we just double back a little bit to your listeners and them freaking out and people unsubscribing?
Yeah, I wanted to say I'm really surprised, how people respond to the flat Earth because they don't even want to hear it and they completely dismiss it. And this is what I don't understand. And this is not just about flat Earth, but some other conspiracies too, where you have two sides. Okay, the Earth is flat and the Earth is round. I mean, this is completely different. Something that's round and something that's flat. How can we have two such divergent sides, two such divergent arguments and proofs supposedly for each side, right? Eric, you have 200 proofs the Earth is flat. And then you have the globe earthers saying, well, this science shows that it's completely a globe. These flat earthers,
but they can't produce the science. They just say the word science. They pick and choose. Oh, I can't see the bottom of that building, and they go, that's because the Earth is curved. And I'm like, well, are you taking into atmospheric compression, atmospheric blocking? Are you understanding any of this stuff? Are you realizing that on different days you can see different numbers of floors? Look at these floors. They're all the same width. But they're in reality, but they get compressed all the way down to the bottom. What's going on there? This is compression into the vanishing point, which is the optical horizon. So on different days, you can see different numbers of floors. Does that mean that the Earth is flexing on different days, or does it mean that there's an optical thing going on, not a physical horizon thing?
Right. That does look like an illusion. Okay, and
it is.
So the thing is, Dave, like I still don't understand why people just won't even listen. Have you met?
I do. Yeah, I'll explain. Some people are unable to see it, and that's okay, and that's their journey. I don't use the word. That's their journey. It's not my job to wake them up. That's fine. I'm offering, hey, here's some truth. Let me show it to you. Not interested? Okay. That's your choice. But the thing is, they've trained us before we can talk that the earth is a globe. Your parents probably put a mobile of the planets over your crib. Coolest thing ever. I think I did it with my kid. NASA sheets, the Goodnight Moon, all of the books, they're all space related. Then they sit the kid down in front of Sesame Street. Oh, they're teaching the alphabet and the colors. Oh my God. And astronauts are on there. And the yip yaps talking about the moon and the earth. And I remember when I was being a little kid watching the yip yap saying, that's the moon. I'm like, that's the earth. I'm like, no, it's the moon. And I knew it. And I was so smart. Right? The first worksheet kids bring home from school is about the orbits of the planets and the moons, all of their favorite movies, all of their favorite cartoons. It's all programming. So you build your whole world belief around that. Everything that you do is built on that foundation. And somebody comes by one day and goes, hey, by the way, your parents are serial killers. You thought they were nice, but they actually eat children every night, right? You're not going to react well to that because the foundation of your world is on a belief that, your parents are good, that the earth is a globe. But if somebody comes, you can't, like if I told you that your parents, if they're alive or not, eat children at night, you wouldn't even look at anything I had to show you. You'd be like, you're absolutely crazy. And I'm not going to look at anything you say. It's literally that jarring. Okay. But if you're forced to look, I don't know if that was a great analogy, but it was that drastic. If you're forced to look and you're true and honest to yourself, I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. Anybody that's freaking out about this should, like, if you're freaking out, that means you have proof of the globe. 1 proof of the globe, 3 Bitcoins, it's $100,000.
But what's interesting? I've seen clips of pilots that say the earth is flat. They've said,
how many?
They've said outright, like, fighter pilots, commercial pilots. But then I've also seen some other clips where some of them say, oh, you can see the curvature. But Neil deGrasse Tyson said you can't even see the curvature from 125,000 feet up.
Neil deGrasse Tyson said yesterday that he doesn't think that the height that Richard Branson went, which wasn't space, you can see the curvature from there. He keeps moving the globe post, right? They used to say, well, you can see it from an airplane. Then we showed how, no, you can't. They're like, well, you have to be up in a MiG, at 70,000 feet. And then we showed the video that they showed from the MiG. One of the cameras didn't have a fisheye lens or looking through curved glass. And it's like, oh, well, you have to go up to 120,000 feet. And they showed us Felix Baumgartner with his Red Bull jump. And they showed this curvature. And then we showed how, no, the other camera is not a curve.
That's laughable how far it's curving.
This is New Mexico. This is all New Mexico. If you look at the land features, this is Planet New Mexico. And then Felix comes out and goes, "You can't see it from there." He literally keeps moving the globe post, and now they got it to where he's saying he doesn't think that Richard Branson could even see the curve. Right? All nonsense.
But you know what? I saw some of the clip or pictures of Branson in the ship, and when you look out, it looked like the horizon was pretty flat to me.
Well, no, some of them was convex. The Earth was actually curved upwards, right? And the other thing is, Richard Branson, they say that he experienced weightlessness for over 4 minutes. Show me the uncut video of people floating on that thing for 4 minutes. All they'll show you with 3 seconds at a time. What he was on a 0G plane, right? Where they did a whole bunch of times where they had the girl with the long hair. They always have the girl with the long hair flipping around. Just look, she's in space. You have to have the long hair. If people were going to space for real, they'd have haircuts like yours, okay? Because that's the last thing that you need in space is hair flipping all over the place. But they do that to dazzle the people, right? He was on a 0G plane. It looked like he was going to throw up, right? It's ridiculous. People are so easily fooled because they want to believe in space.
So, I mean, a lot of people ask, like, how can all the countries of the world and the leaders of the world be in on this conspiracy? Because, we talked about, and they're saying, well, how can all these countries be a part of it? How can all these leaders be a part of it? What about Richard Branson? Do you think, he's a shill? Is he part of the conspiracy? I mean, it would seem so.
1,000%. He is 1,000%. He hasn't created anything. I don't even think he was on a plane that went nearly as high as they did. If you watch the video where they barely show you anything, the height when they were at the apogee of their flight, you can see land features. Well, you can't see land features from that, the roads and stuff. It's nonsense what they showed us. He's in on it. When you say other countries, you're believing in the division of countries. Well, there's not. The Cold War, Russia, United States, how many people died? 0. There was no Cold War. There was no space race. There is no competition. All of these countries, they divided us. From the last reset, which was in the 1800s, late 1800s, there was a worldwide civilization called Tartaria here, right? This was, they whatever cataclysm happened, whatever, was it man-made, God-made? I don't know. I wasn't there, but they divided us by countries. They divided us by religions, races, sexes. They're dividing us by jabbed, unjabbed. They're dividing us by, every way possible. They're telling us to stay 6 feet apart. They don't want us together. They don't want us talking because they know that when we're united, we're powerful. All right. And they don't want that. The division of countries is nonsense. Any country that has a space program, they're all in on it. China, go watch China's. I mean, if you watch you think NASA's bad, watch China. China, they landed a rover on Mars the other day. Here is the video they showed. First, who's filming it? Okay. This is them. Look at the shadow coming down. Watch the shadow. Look at that. This is what they showed us. This is the only proof that they landed a rover on Mars. This is what they showed us. And just the other day, I believe it was
Jeff Bezos. Wasn't Jeff Bezos supposed to go up soon?
He's going up, or he just went up. Buzz Aldrin was on Conan O'Brien. And can I share like a 30-second video?
Yeah, sure. But I just want to say something real quick. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. I know people, like, you see all these people that are clapping, and people are going to say, well, there's so many people that work at NASA and there's so many people that work at these space agencies. Are they all in on it too? And my answer to that would be that some of these people are compartmentalized. So they give somebody a task.
Oh yeah. There's very few people in on it.
There's very few people in the
very very few people. It's very compartmentalized. The same thing at NASA, SpaceX. There's rooms full of people, that are getting data. One of the interviews with somebody that ran the Apollo in this room, the room where they show, that keep track. They go, we do so many simulations that when the real event happens, we can't even tell the difference. This is what they said on an interview. We can't even tell the difference. And the reason they can't tell the difference is because they're all simulations. No one's going to space. It's all nonsense. But people are so emotionally tied. Oh my God, we walked on the moon. There's my hero. It's nonsense. They're all liars. Just go look at the behavior of the astronauts since then. But the video I wanted to show you was on Conan O'Brien. Buzz Aldrin said, Conan said, I remember a kid, I watched you walk on the moon. And he goes, no, you didn't. He goes, no. He goes, no, you didn't. We didn't have any television cameras. You were watching an animation. He said that just the other day. Again, moving the goalpost. They're literally just, they know that all the video has been exposed. So they're like, oh, no, you didn't see that. You saw an animation because we didn't have cameras. Therefore, it happened. You just have to trust us because we're NASA. What I'm showing you here, by the way, is the only proof that we landed a rover on Mars the other day, like a couple months ago, right? This is what they showed us. This is it. This is what they showed us. They got all these double masks, people know. Does this girl know? Maybe not. Maybe she's fresh out of space camp. Okay. And this is what they showed us. This is just a media circus nonsense show, right? It landed. Where did that little box come from? Ready? And you can tell they landed because all these people are about to high five each other. Okay. And once that happens, it's true, right? This is what they showed us. This is the only proof that we went to Mars. Look, this is it. This is it. And people like, oh yeah, you can't have that many people. They can't, the Clinton couldn't even keep his marital affairs, a secret. Okay. That's all a psyop. All of that is out there to make you doubt everything.
Now, I got so much. I wish we had like 5 hours to talk because I have so many things I don't want to ask you, but
go ahead.
But, one of the things that also boggles my mind is that there's so much that you can point to in regard to like the moon missions happened in the 60s and 70s, and we've never went back to the moon in the same way. And also, if you look at the craft that we went in, as Eric Dubé likes to point out, they're made of what? Shower curtains, tin foil, and Scotch tape or something. Isn't it laughable? I mean, you could pick apart all of the moon landing footage. I mean, if you just make it twice the speed, it looks normal. I mean, there's so much to it. And why do people buy into this? I guess it goes back to what your answer was before, but even when you show them the proof, like I made a video recently where I showed, you ever see those videos with the astronauts, like they're holding something in their hand, they drop it. And then, they always sit there, like they do this, like they go like this, right? Like,
right.
They hold their arms like that. And then when they drop something, they want to go pick it up. I mean, it's obvious.
With the ball. The guy dropped the ball the other day.
Yes.
And they trick us. Sometimes they're using CGI objects and in the same frame, they're using, like, they love their little beach balls because the beach balls are filled with helium. They have them neutrally buoyant, but he was holding it under his arm too long. He squeezed the little helium out, so it lost its neutral buoyancy, and then he dropped it. And then it fell down, and one guy tried to pick it up, and he couldn't reach down. This isn't the one, but these guys, look, if you're in space, first, why do you need the giant belt? Are your pants going to fall down? What do you got underneath your pants? Why are your shirts buttoned up like that? There's so many issues with how they react. They're always wearing different clothes, nicely pressed, nice and clean, no sweat. I mean, where are they doing their laundry? Where are they getting all of these clothes? Why
are there always the wires like that? Like an electrician, like even the worst electrician in the world would never do something like that.
Have you seen the new Chinese space station?
No.
We got to get their electricians. It's super crisp, nice. But just like our space station, Chinese space station, all of a sudden is up there. No video, no photos of it being built. It's there and there's people on it. Did you know that?
But I guess
out of nowhere.
I guess one of my other questions is to me it's so blatant. It's almost like laughable. Like when Elon Musk put the car in, or SpaceX put the car in space.
Yeah,
Tesla Roadster. Like, it's just laughable. I mean, why do they even bother with this? Like, do they really think that they're fooling us?
They do. Here's the guy right dropped the ball, and then the guy, he can't reach it. The girl's like, no, get back, get back.
Look at that body language right there.
Yeah.
Like, why would you even attempt to want to pick it up? Like, it wouldn't matter, right?
Right. There's so many times where we can see the wires pulling on their shirts. I have a video that's coming out on the app next week. Early next week, it's scheduled to feature on the app, where I caught some old footage where you can totally see the wires pulling on their shirts. It's unbelievable. I mean, it is actually very believable.
And also, I wanted to ask you, like, because I've seen people in my comment section going back and forth, and the globe earthers, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm a complete flat earther and I hate globe earthers and I'm creating division. I'm just saying the evidence is mounting. But why is it that globe earthers say, well, look at all the evidence? There's so many pictures from NASA of the Earth. Like that's all you need.
And I say, show me one. Show me one. And their answer is, why should I bother? You'll just say it's fake. And I'm like, just show me one and I'll show you why it's fake, right? Here's one. This is like the one that came out after the blue marble. Well, we can measure this. Set 934 miles. They tell us the diameter, a straight line through the Earth, is 7,917 miles. I should be able to fit 8.5 of these red segments in between these two lines, and 8.5 doesn't even fit on this page. Okay. So that's scientifically provably a painting. Okay. So show me a picture of the Earth. There are none, right? They step and repeat clouds. Okay. They can't even, NASA, here's the thing. Globers claim pictures of Earth are real. NASA tells us they're not real. And so what the heck is going on? People just have a hard time believing that their entire life is a lie.
Well, I have another problem with this, because they always show us these perfect spheres, and their poster boy for science, Neil deGrasse Tyson, said that it's a pear shape.
Right. And his argument is, well, it's not really a pear shape. It's just, it's 14 miles wider at the equator. So 28 miles wider, and 28 miles, you wouldn't even notice that. They're like a cube, a pool ball. The cue ball on a pool table is rougher than the surface of the earth with its mountains and everything, right? Because if you reduce the earth down proportionally to the size of a cue ball, it would be the smoothest cue ball ever. Well, that's baloney, nonsense, but that's what they claim, and nobody can prove wrong because Neil deGrasse Tyson said it.
I wanted to also ask you about when people take these telescopes, or they have, I forgot the camera, the
P900, P1000, super zoom,
exactly.
Nikon.
And when you look at the stars,
you owe us some money, flat earthers. We sold a lot of cameras for you.
Well, when you look at the stars, they look like you've shown this, where they almost look like watery, like kind of glowing lights.
Look up star in a jar, where they put sound waves into concentrated sound waves into a jar of water, and you get these little these little images, little suns appearing in the water. Okay. And go back to the Bible, the universe, one verse. God created the world with a verse. This is all sound and vibration. All of us, all matter is a level of vibration. Okay.
Granted, that's the way it looks for the stars. But if you zoom in on Mars or Jupiter, you can see patterns. Like you can see like what looks like Jupiter. Okay, there's the Mars.
There's Mars.
Let me ask you this. Why is it that's Mars, right? When you zoom in, but how come some people see it as this, the red planet that we know and see some deep?
Because it's in their imagination. You zoom in on it, you see a orange light. It's small. It could be the size of a friggin' orange. You don't know how big it is, how far it is. You don't know any of that. Okay? They can tell you, the other day, who said it? There was this one scientist, not scientist, this astrophysicist that was having a discussion with Bob from Globebusters, and he was in the chat during Globebusters this past weekend, and he was saying, well, the radius of the Earth might be bigger than they're telling us. Well, guess what? Then everything else changes. All the planets change, all the distance of the sun, every moon, everything changes if the radius of Earth changes. Well, he said that the radius might be bigger. Well, then everything changes and we didn't go to the moon. Okay? Everything changes. We don't have we don't know what R is, the radius. We don't know what the radius of the Earth is. Therefore, everything in the heliocentric model falls apart. And when you say we look up and we see these things, our imagination is seeing it. This is what NASA tells us it is. And when we look, this is what we see. Okay? This is with the most powerful zoom lenses. This is what we see. Saturn is the most amazing. To me, Saturn looks like a ball with a ring around it, but it's a light. That ring that's made of ice and dirt and rocks is as bright as the planet. When you look at it through a good magnification, it's lit. It's a friggin' light. What is it? I don't know.
What about, like, I've seen Jupiter not through a personal telescope that I've seen, but people post on YouTube, and you can see like little moons circling Jupiter. What do you
think? Moons? Who told you they were moons? You're seeing little lights, okay? Little tiny lights. And you know what they look like to me? If you ever saw the footage of the eclipse filmed from an airplane, there was one time an airplane filmed an eclipse. There was these little spots that were around the sun that were really weird, these little orbs. To me, they look like the same kind of configuration of those things that we see surrounding the light in the sky that we call Jupiter.
Okay. Have you, I got you there. There's never going to be a resolution between the flat earthers and the globe earthers, because the globe earthers are...
I'm sorry to interrupt. I heard you say that the earth could be flat. Thank you. And the earth could be a globe. You're wrong. It can't be a globe. That's one thing that we can prove, right? Because to be a globe, there has to be space and an infinite vacuum. Well, you can't have high pressure and a globe next to space vacuum. You can't have people standing upside down, oceans upside down, tanker ships upside down. You can't have that. It doesn't work. There is no curvature. If you have a globe, I don't care if it has a radius of 4,000 miles or 250,000 miles, there would be curvature. No curvature, no globe. We're not floating in space. That is scientifically provable.
And also, how is this work on a, maybe you can't answer this because you're not a globe earther, but my question to the globe earthers would be, how is it that we have this atmosphere and then you go beyond the atmosphere? At what point do you pop into space? Like, what is that barrier there? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, they tell us that the globers say, you have pressure gradient. So the air is most dense down low. I agree. And as you go up, it gets thinner. Okay, I agree. The air pressure gets less and less and less until there's no pressure. And then you have a vacuum of space. That's nonsense. Okay. First thing is, to have air pressure, you need a container to contain the pressure. Not gravity. You need a container. If we have a tank of gases at the bottom of the tank, like a big helium tank or oxygen tank or whatever, the gases at the bottom are more dense than the ones at the top. It's just buoyancy and density sort everything else out, right? But you need a container to have pressure. You can't have air pressure without a container. Okay. The Earth is not a container. A dome would be a container. I don't believe space is a vacuum. So I don't need a container to hold air in. Okay. I don't believe space is a vacuum. I believe space is liquid. But think about this. You ever watch a pot of water boiling? You get a bubble on the bottom, pretty decent sized bubble, right? Well, imagine you were standing inside that bubble. You're on a flat surface. You have water above you with a dome with no real container. I mean, there is a dome over you holding that water up. What's holding it up? Air pressure. Think about this. You've flown an airplane. You ever fly through a big cumulus cloud? What happens to the airplane? Nothing. The windows barely get wet. Okay. You ever been in a hurricane, right? Where rivers of water are falling out of the sky. Tons, millions and millions of tons of water are falling out of the sky. Where was that water before? Floating in a cloud that a plane could fly through? That doesn't make any sense. When do these rivers of water come out? When there's low pressure. A hurricane, super low pressure. Well, low pressure lets the waters from above in. That's my belief.
Interesting. Have you heard about this group called Beyond Flat Earth?
Tell me about them.
I believe, if I remember the channel, it's called something like Awakened Souls, but one of my viewers suggested I watch them. And what they are...
Two guys, Awake Souls?
Yes, Awake Souls, that's it.
Yeah, total morons.
Really?
Sorry. These two guys, first they were claiming they were going to be raptured a couple of years ago, and they literally had it down to the day. Well, they're still here. These guys are, they come off like they're really smart. They're literally so dumb. I am all about free speech, but if I see their names show up in one of my chats, before I even read the comment, I ban them because they're the dumbest guys on earth. I'm sorry. I'm usually not this mean. The dumbest guys on earth.
Okay.
Dumbest.
Tell me how
and I encourage you, go watch it yourself. Go watch them yourselves.
No,
Just don't send me any of their videos because
I watched a couple of their videos, which were very long and very boring, but
yes.
And they don't really make that sense to me. The only thing that I got from it is that they believe that every person on the planet has their own rendered sun and moon. And okay.
They also believe that the sun goes in a straight line and then appears over here like Pac-Man. Okay. That's ridiculous because we can prove that the sun circles. Just go in June to Norway or Alaska and film the sun for 24 hours. It goes right around your head. Boom. It goes around. Think about this. The Arctic, right? Think about this, the Arctic and the Antarctic. Okay. So here's the sun. It goes around, circles around. Well, we're in the inner north. If you're in the Arctic, in the middle here, okay, what is the sun doing? The sun is arcing around you. Anywhere in the Arctic, the sun is arcing around you. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're out here in the Antarctic, what's it doing? It's not going around you. It's antarcing away from you, coming towards you and away from you. It doesn't go around you. Antarctic, Arctic. They're talking about the sun. That doesn't work on a globe.
That's interesting. I've never heard it actually put like that before.
Yeah.
It is interesting. So,
and if you watch the sun, you can, there's tons of videos of the 24-hour sun in the inner north. And then if you go to the south, there's no 24-hour suns. There is a certain time of year where it's light. Daylight is different than sunlight. And if you watch the sun over time lapses, you can see the sun come towards you and away from you in the south. But in the north, you can see it come around you. Okay. It just keeps coming around you and it's not going away from you. And you could watch these things if you watch them with open eyes and not preconceived programming, you understand what's really happening. Because you can take a glimpse. Imagine if we can get up to, I don't know, 400,000 feet. No one can get that high, but imagine if we could, right? Take a glober up there and a flat earther up there, and they look down and they see the circle of the earth. The globe believer is going to believe he's looking at a sphere. The flat earther is going to see reality. He's going to see, no, that's just a circle. Circle's not a sphere. Okay. You have, if you're programmed in to believe it's a ball, when you see a horizon, you're going to say, oh, that's the curve. That's the physical curve of the earth, but it's not. And it's provably not.
Right. Well, they also believe, they've shown, I've seen a couple of videos where they say that the sun can rise out of the clouds, that the sun is below the horizon, below the viewer of like a plane. A plane's flying maybe at 20,000 feet. Maybe there's clouds under, and they show the sun rising up out of the clouds. So
it's all that's all due to perspective. But if you watch, where the sun manifests, where I do believe that the sun kind of, we all see it in a position relative to our own. But tell me what's going on here. There's clouds above it, behind it, below it, to the left of it, to the right of it, right? The sun is right there within the clouds. Okay. Is it a physical item, a physical ball? I don't think so. Right. This was taken in Florida.
So where is the sun? Is it in the firmament? Is it in front of the firmament or behind it?
So just like when you take a magnifying glass to, make a little point and burn things, that little point is the sun that we see. So imagine you're burning, burning things on the ground and you lift the magnifying glass up 6 inches. Well, that dot's gone. Well, it's really not gone. It's in the air now. You just can't see it. I believe that the sun the real sun, the source sun, is above or within the firmament, and the firmament is the lens that's focusing it into our reality. We're seeing the sun, being focused into our reality. So here's a little example. This in person, this was amazing. There was like a sun floating in this thing, right? And all I'm doing is moving my iPhone light above the dome up here. Okay. And this literally looked like a sun, right? Inside of this dome, which was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So there it is. There's the light. I'm just moving it around and the sun is in there. It was pretty cool.
I know one of the questions that people ask is, if the earth was flat and the sun is above, then the whole world would be illuminated, but they don't understand.
No. Right. So I'm moving a light across this. This is a glass dome sitting on top of a carpet. Okay. And so the sun's right here. It fades out to nothing. Now I'm going to bring the light back and the sun's going to, I'm not moving the height of the light. It's staying above the dome. It shows up here. It rises. This is, and when you look at this, you can see that it's inside this dome and it peaks and then it sets. And all I'm doing is moving the sun away. Okay. And then it goes down to the edge and you think it's setting, but it's not. It's just going beyond your ability to see. All of these clouds merge into the horizon. From your terrestrial point of view, you have that atmospheric deck in the middle. It all gets crunched together in the horizon. And then the sun just moves away like this. And it sets. And it looks like a horizon. It looks like it's all at eye level, but it's not. It's just moving away.
Right.
And certain times a year at certain places, you can see the sun just clearly moving away. It's not getting lower. You have to believe that you're standing here falling over backwards, watching the sun get farther away because you're moving and the sun's not. That's an inversion. Okay. They invert everything. Well, you can clearly see the sun's moving away. They tell you you're falling over backwards.
Right. What about the moon? Is the moon also beyond the firmament, and the moon is also kind of doing exactly what you said with this, how the sun is? Is that how it works as well?
Yeah, I believe that the moon is also without the real source of the moon. Now, and again, we don't know. The moon is the craziest mystery of all. But if I believe that the sun and the moon are being kind of projected into our reality through that lens of the firmament. And when the moon powers up and powers down, it's its own light, just like the sun is its own light. Okay. But the moon has a cool light and the sun has a heated light, different types of light. And when there's a new moon, the source moon isn't lit. So there's nothing to project. That's why when the moon goes new, nobody has ever seen it for less than like 42 hours. It's almost 2 full days. No one has ever seen it. They haven't seen it from the International Fake Station, from an airplane, from infrared, cameras. No one is able to see the sun. And the Globers will go, well, that's because it's so close to the sun, you can't see it. The sun's blinding you. All right, good argument. Except when there's a total solar eclipse, the moon is blocking out the whole sun, supposedly. The full Earth, from the moon's point of view, should be lighting up, reflecting the light onto the moon, just like the full moon lights up the Earth so much that you can read a newspaper by it. Okay. And no one has ever seen the features on the moon during an eclipse. No one has ever seen it. They just see an eclipse. It's a black circle blocking the sunlight. I actually believe that it does have something to do with the moon, but the moon is behind the sun that we see. The sun is being projected onto a screen, the sky screen, if you will, and then something's going behind that projector, in front of the projector, behind the sun that we see, blocking it out. And I have a simulation in the app under What About Eclipses. Watch my simulation. I recreated the same thing. I compared it to eclipse. It looks exactly the same. And there's one point in there where you can see the source of the projection. And some people had felt, it's happened many times during an eclipse, people have seen the source because the sun gets dimmed so much, you can see the source through the firmament. And I've shown it, I've recreated it, and I stand by it. But check that out in the app under What About Eclipses. You'll see it.
Okay. So viewers, if you want to check that out, Dave has that app. I was also wondering about the firmament itself. I have a question for you about it. I know in Project Fishbowl or Operation Fishbowl, and supposedly back in I think it was the early 60s, the United States shot, maybe Soviet Union as well, shot nuclear missiles or maybe just missiles up into the into the firmament, and it just, I guess, they bounced off or they exploded. I mean, what do you think?
They exploded and they hit something. What are they hitting? We don't know. But look at Hillary Clinton's constantly talking about breaking that high glass ceiling above us. They're literally trying to break God's creation.
Right. Did you
People say nuclear bombs because that's the official story. Nuclear bombs don't exist, just bombs.
Right. Did you see that Simpsons episode where Homer hits a home run and it breaks the firmament?
Absolutely. Truth in the movies, lies in the news.
So do you have any idea what, the firmament, like, for instance, like, we know it's up, you said it's up so high, I don't know, like whatever, 150.
I don't know how high it is, but there's the Encyclopedia Americana from 1959, which you can't find anymore, talks about in Antarctica at 85 degrees south, 85 or 80 degrees south, I think maybe 80 degrees south, that the domed ceiling can be found at 13,000 feet. So at 80 degrees south, the domed ceiling, according to Encyclopedia Americana, is at 13,000 feet.
Well, I was gonna. That's my next question. So, in the middle would be the highest point, right? And then
one would say that, but you know, when you talk about flat Earth and you look at the model, some of the heights that they're saying that the dome wouldn't have a dome, a big high dome like this. It would literally look like the glass on a watch, you know, a very low dome, right? It wouldn't be as bulbous as we show here. It would be a much lower dome, which makes a lot of sense. It's like, I don't know how high it is. We don't know.
Okay, because my
but at 80 degrees south, it's 13,000 feet.
Because my thinking was, if it's probably sloping down, but you're saying that may not be true. That
it may slope at less of an angle. It might not be this severe.
Right.
Okay. It's hard to see it right here, but it may not be that severe. It might be less. Maybe, who knows?
Do you think that in the United States and Soviet Union and some of these other countries that signed the UN treaty have explored, because they've been there, they were there in the 40s and 50s. So they must have the lay of the land. They must know, because they've been way past the ice wall. They've been all the way through Antarctica to see a country or a land supposedly bigger than the United States. Do you think they know they've explored all that land and know what's going on there?
No, I think that they know as much as they know, but I was contacted, and again, I can't verify any of this, but the information that I got was very, very credible, from an ex-NASA whistleblower who was in the process of moving. He was leaving the country, and he said he could answer some questions for me anonymously. And so we went back and forth probably a dozen times, and he gave us information on what the International Space Station is and how no one's been to space and how they had the technology to examine what's up and you know, what the firmament is, but they were explicitly told not to. Okay. You know, and then of course the trolls came out and like, you know, and the skeptics, of course, saying, no, this is just someone trolling you. But the information they gave us was quite interesting. And then all of a sudden he disappeared, never to be heard from again. I think he was giving out too much information, and he was either told to shut up or shut it up.
How many people in the government know the truth? Is it a lot of people or just
7.
a few people? Sorry?
I'm just kidding. I said 7. I would say that out of all the people in the senators and congressmen, I don't know, maybe none of them. Maybe a lot of the presidents don't even know. Certainly Biden doesn't know. I would say that, you know, people like Richard Branson, he knows. You know, there are elite that know. There are people like the 33rd degree Masons. They all know. You know, there's a video I had on the app, if you go back through the archive from July or June, of a Freemason showing us, drawing a diagram of how the Earth works, and very, very, very interesting stuff there with a black sun below the Earth and how it's projecting all of the lights that we see from the center of the Earth into the sky. Makes a lot of sense. Kind of like if you look at a planetarium, all of the stuff on the ceiling is projected from the center of the room. It's very, very, very interesting stuff. Again, we're still trying to figure all this out, and there's amazing stuff out there. Have you seen the stuff about the real map of the Earth is actually on the moon?
Okay, that's gonna be one of my questions I was gonna ask, because a viewer recently sent me a video. I didn't have time to look at the whole video, but
5 hours long, called "The History of Flat Earth," right?
I'm not sure, but it supposedly the concept is that you can see the reflection of the firmament in the moon or something like that. You tell me, David.
So this is an image of it. So it's kind of hard to see right here. This is a map of our world. Okay. And he literally laid out all the continents and everything. And it looks a little different than what we're used to, but it sure makes a heck of a lot of sense once you see it. But here are the circles. Here, this widest circle is the edge of our world pond that we call the beginning of Antarctica on the flat Earth. And then you have these other lines here. You got the equator, you got the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay. And the sun circles around in here. So this is our pond right in here. And what the heck is all of this land? Okay. Well, you know, they tell us our magnetic North Pole is moving? Well, it is, and it's moving around this circle. So this circle is actually moving around the entire Earth plane. And so it moves 15 degrees every 2,160 years, creating a great year of about 25,000 years all the way around. This is why Antarctica used to be not frozen. And there's maps of Antarctica, that wasn't frozen, but that doesn't fit our historical timeline. So in 12,000 years, the whole Earth pond will be over here, and there'll be a friggin' ice age over here, right? And the what's going on in the world right now, a lot of this stuff makes sense with this thing going around. This is called the hidden history of flat Earth. It keeps getting deleted from YouTube. The guy that made its name is E. Warrenon, but it's on the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and it's on if you hit the web page, it's literally the center button right there. If you click that button, bring food and water. It's 7 parts. It's 5 hours. My videos are less than 5 minutes when I make videos because I understand people's time. But here's the thing. It's 7 parts. People, I say, just watch it. Watch 10 minutes. And then you watch 10 minutes. You watch another 10 minutes. And if you watch the second 10 minutes, you don't turn it off for 5 hours. You watch the whole thing. I've watched it 4 times already. Can
you send me the link after the...
Do you have my app?
No, I don't. I don't have your app.
Well, the link keeps changing. So it's in the app. It's called The History of Flat Earth. And it's under the web button, but you can Google it. You can try to find it. The History of Flat Earth by E. Warrenon. It's 5 hours, 7 parts.
Is this map you're showing me something new for the flat Earth model? Like something that
this is a fairly new information, a channel called Sturgios or something like that. It started mapping it out. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's very, very interesting. I'm not saying this is steadfast, but this guy has really figured out a lot of stuff. And when you look at it and look at this old world architecture and how they had free energy technology all over the place that's still here today, we see it. It goes the whole thing. You go through this thing, it's jaw-dropping information. But the thing is, to get a non-believer, someone that thinks flat Earth is stupid, they're never going to watch a 5-hour video. That's why I start my videos 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, right? But this one is I get emails every single day. I put it up. The most recent one I put up, it's almost 300,000 views in literally no time. This one is waking up a lot of people, and they don't want that out there. I doubt it'll be on the internet much longer.
What do you think of people like David Wilcock, Corey Good, these people that
gatekeepers?
Sorry?
Gatekeepers. David Wilcock may believe what he's saying. I don't know. But he will not address the flat Earth. He will not look at it. People like him, Nassim Haramein, these guys have their funding that not especially Nassim, where they will never look at the flat Earth. They're just pushing the globe deception. They're David Wilcock's pushing the New World, the New World. Jasara, I don't know. I forget what he's pushing. I actually went and saw David. I traveled to see him, I think in Texas years ago, went to a 2 or 3 day seminar of his, right? But he is a full-on gatekeeper, whether he knows it or not.
Yeah, I know. I recently came across, do you know that there's a video platform, I think it's called Odyssey. You've heard of it?
Absolutely. Odyssey is one of the platforms we use to stream on and mirror lots of our videos.
Yeah, there's a great video I watched recently about Eddie Bravo destroys, with the flat Earth. That was great.
Yeah, that's up there. Yep,
that's a great video. He's very entertaining to watch. But no, there was a guy actually was talking about how David Wilcock is just an actor, and
he is
making up these.
Here's the thing. I think I can't tell you whether he is purposely lying. I think he might believe the stuff he's saying. And just like, people will defend the globe, he's defending his position. Maybe he's under hypnosis where he's told that anytime anyone mentions flat Earth to completely ignore them and short circuit. Yeah, okay. And that's easily done through hypnosis. So people laugh at hypnosis, but it is a powerful tool.
Because I was curious to know what his take on flat Earth is. And I tried to
He won't address it.
Google his name and there's nothing. There's just nothing.
There's nothing. He will not address it. We tried to reach him to get him to talk to us. He will not even acknowledge our existence.
I know. Yeah, it's unfortunate because at one time I really, I thought he was real, but I've also heard calls of him even before he became famous. He was calling, saying he's a time traveler and making up lies.
Yeah, and look at Laura Eisenberg, Eisenhower. She's saying that she's been to Mars. I think that I think she's a nice person, and I think she's mind controlled. I don't believe that she is a known shill. She's a mind control shill. Her father was the president. She's probably an MK Ultra mind control. It's easy to hypnotize people. I used to hypnotize people. Okay, for fun and for helpful, for positive things, for memory, and you can get people to not. It's so easy to get someone to not look at flat Earth. So easy. I could do it in moments, in seconds.
It's just interesting because if you go to a bookstore like Barnes and Noble, you go to the library, there's just tons of books on astronomy and cosmology, and there's so much detail in them, and I guess that's why it's hard for people really to believe in the flat Earth. But when you look empirically at what you're talking about, it makes it seem like.
Chad, you say it's hard to believe in flat Earth. It's hard to believe in the globe, but believing is easy. Like you believe I live in Connecticut. It's easy. Do you know I believe that I live in Connecticut? Do you know it?
No.
You believe it because it's easy. But if you wanted to find out, it'll probably take you, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, but you can figure it out. And yes, then you'll know I live in Connecticut. Okay. So belief is the enemy of knowing. People that believe in the globe know nothing about where they live. They know nothing about flat Earth. They know disinformation about flat Earth. Okay. People that believe in the flat Earth, some of them are stupid because they just believe it. They never verified it themselves. Some of them, I don't call them stupid. They're trusting. Don't believe anything I say. Nothing. Go check it yourself. And when you do, you'll know for sure you don't live on a spinning ball, flying through an infinite space vacuum. That's ridiculous.
No, I mean,
and once you accept that, life gets better. Again, we're in a spiritual war. They're stealing your soul with the soul lure system. That's the currency, souls. They want your soul. Sounds crazy, right? No, it's not crazy. They want your soul, and they'll do anything to steal it.
I mean, in terms of all these guys like Stephen Greer and, all these guys. Yeah. Well,
Stephen Greer had this thing where you could, if you have a free energy device, send it to him. Well, he stole them all. He gatekeep, blocked. There's so many free energy machines out there, that can pull energy out of the ether. They can't have that because it's a national security threat. Stephen Greer is a total shill.
What do you think of Nikola Tesla? I mean, what was he to you?
Yeah, so Nikola Tesla, the stories you hear about him are amazing. I think he was from Tataria. Can't prove it wasn't there, right? Don't know if any of the quotes that we hear by him are really him, but the story is good, makes a lot of sense. He lit up the world's fairs without electricity. You go look at, watch that history of the lost history of flat Earth, and then the other series that by Warren that's linked in the app. You'll see that we're all of this stuff is being hidden from us. Free energy, how important we are, that we live in a spiritual realm. All of this is being hidden from us. So Nikola Tesla, his work was stolen, and then Trump's great grandfather or whatever, went in and looked at all of his stuff and said, there's nothing worthwhile here. That's the story they tell us. And all of his research disappeared. Okay. And then all of a sudden, we're doing crazy things with energy and all these experiments that are going on. Nikola Tesla, in my opinion, was from I guess from the Tatarian Empire and was bringing that information into this realm, but they didn't want that. The controllers, you know, since the last reset are taking over and wiping out that information. And that's kind of what's going on right now. A great channel, ODD TV, which was one of the greatest flat earth channels, was removed from YouTube today, and his backup channel, no warning, no nothing, no way to appeal it, nothing, right? And he had like 300,000 subs. All of his videos are gone.
Really? That is crazy today. Because that to me, that was one of the best channels for.
Yeah. They're coming down. And then other people out there, their PayPals were shut down today, right? They're doing another purge. What they do is they do a purge, then they relax a little bit. And then they do a purge. They're in the middle of a purge. They're taking down all of these channels. All of the stuff's going down the memory hole. Everything that's online, you think you have an archive? Baloney. It's all gone. You know what? I used to, as a kid, laughed at, you know, oh, those ancient people, they're so primitive. They had to write things in stone. That's the only thing that's going to survive. Okay. The next reset, the only things that are going to survive are written in stone. Compact discs, computer hard drives, books, maybe a couple books, but not many unless you preserve them well. So, you know, everyone has everything on a Kindle now. Forget it. It's going to be something to skim across a pond, right? All the information is going away if we allow it. If we allow them to continue with what's going on, we're in the middle or towards the end of a great reset. Look at, you know, Klaus Schwab, what he says is going on. It's the great reset. It's happening right now. People don't notice. People don't care, in the words of George Carlin. And that's how they get away with it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my channel has been shadow banned personally, you know.
Absolutely.
From what it was when I started this, because I could tell you when I started off, I was getting 50, 100,000 views per video. And yeah, that was going and I was going. And then I made a video about, you know, secret government. And then I noticed the video was performing just as well as the other videos. And when it got to around 25,000 views, which is only after a few days, it literally like just stopped, almost as if YouTube just said, nope, we're not showing this anymore. And that's when I realized that YouTube can just turn it off and turn it on, and they decide who they want to promote.
Stoplookthink.com. Stoplookthink.com. All the stuff that's going down the memory hole, it's there. All current stuff that's going on. Take a couple days, peruse that site. Stoplookthink.com. Okay,
definitely will. I know we're coming up towards the end of your time, but this has been a truly enlightening video. And we've done over an hour. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. Let me just say a couple things that my normal trolls will show up on your channel. They won't offer a single globe proof. Their channels are empty. They'll just say, you know, I'm a scammer. I'm just trying to sell apps, so blah, blah, blah. But they'll never offer a globe proof. Don't let them sway you, because it's easy to, you know, when you see comments like that, you're like, oh, I don't want to look at this.
I saw one that was very persistent in the last video.
Oh yeah.
Where
he'll be here again. There's one Jose and Mr. Green Thumb. Yes. These guys, that's all they do. That's their whole life is to follow me. I feel really bad for them. I mean, God, you know, but they never offer any proof. And go look at their channel. They have no content on their channel. So these are trolls. These are government paid shills trying to capture weak minds. Don't let them capture your mind. Use your own mind. Don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything they say, because they don't actually say anything. And check it out yourself. Don't Google flat earth, because you're going to end up with propaganda. Use the app. Okay. It's $3, right? It's not the $3 I want. I want you to learn. This is the app will show you everything. And here's what to do. We're all have busy lives. Most people have jobs and you got stuff to do. It's like, I don't have time for this, but just take a little bite a day, just a little bite a day, and just watch the daily video every day. Set your app up. Make sure you turn your notifications on for the FE clock. And every day, a new video comes out. I try to do short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekends, and just watch one video a day, right? And they're like, hey, it's your lunch break. Yeah, watch that video. Watch the one that comes after it too, and the one that comes after that. And then you'll start to learn more, and you'll start to be like, okay, I'm starting to see it. And once you see it, all the fear goes away. I mean, we live in some scary times. I don't think they're scary. I think they're friggin' crazy, but I'm not scared. I have no fear. Okay. I've learned never to watch the mainstream news. Never. Not even for 5 minutes. And your life will get so much better. Your spirit will lift. They don't want that. They don't want you with high spirits. They don't want you with a high consciousness. They don't want you thinking, they don't want you understanding that this is an abundant world that we live in and that your thoughts make a difference. They don't want you knowing any of that because that threatens their existence. If this video goes viral, and let's say in America, 330 million people watch it the day it comes out, that'd be nice, right? That would be, and then everyone goes, all right, screw the government. Well, we wouldn't even know who the government is after that. We'd forget their names because they'd have no power. The only power they have is in your imagination, okay? They have you imagining their power because they have none over you, none.
Yeah, wow, that's some very powerful words there, Dave. Is this what you do for a living? I mean, what do you do full time? Like, are you just giving interviews full time? What is your mission in life?
My mission in life, I literally had the American dream. I worked in corporate America. Then I started my own company with a couple partners. Was doing really well, making more money than I ever thought I could make. Life was great. And then I realized, this world is coming unhinged. And I knew about the flat earth, and, I was doing my weekly podcast at the time. And I realized, if we ever get a chance to get our freedom back, let's say they people wake up one day, something happens. How long can we keep our freedom if our minds are spinning out of control, lost in space in a prison? And that prison is the globe. And the answer is we're not going to keep it long, because the people that are running this place are trying to, the powers that want to be, they know the truth of this place. They know how this works. They know the spiritual war we're in. They know what they can and cannot do to us, and they know how to manipulate us. And they already have people complying. They even have people now fighting for their own enslavement. People yelling at you to wear a face muzzle. It's insane, the control that they have. People fighting to protect the globe belief. Why are people doing that when they don't know anything about it? So I quit my job to do this full time, because it doesn't matter how much money you have. If this world falls apart, if we go into full communism, we are heading there right now if people don't wake up. And it's looking pretty bad right now for the number of people that are still sleeping. But I see an awakening happening. And so the way I support myself is by giving you the greatest resource in learning about flat earth, Tataria, and everything else. And it's the app. It's $3, one-time charge. You're buying me a half of a beer, and then you have it forever. There is a $1 a month subscription that you do not have to buy. It's just, you get one pop-up, and then you can exit out the second it comes up. There's no ads, nothing else. Exit out, it's gone. And it only shows up once every 24 hours, and you literally can get rid of it in less than 1 second. So that's it. One-time charge. And it's available on Google Play, and it's available in the Google Play Store. There's already a knockoff by the Flat Earth Society people. It's called the Ron Media Group. Ignore that app, or if you get it, just don't send me an email saying your app sucks, because my app is the highest rated app in the App Store and in the Google Play Store. It's the highest rated app. Well,
I'm gonna get your app after we finish this interview. I'm gonna download it and I'm gonna sign up.
But just get it and just watch the daily video each day. And then they're like, hey, I got a question. What about eclipses? And go to the frequently asked questions, hit the eclipse button, bam, whole list of videos that Google won't serve you. All right. So check it out. And if you're unsure about the app, read the reviews. The reviews will turn you into a flat earther.
Well, I mean, it's $4. I mean, how you can't lose, but
$3.
$3. Sorry.
Yeah. Don't mark me up 25% or 30%.
Did you ever write a book, or have you thought about writing a book on?
I did a picture book called well, it was different. It was called The Globe Lie now, but it was called La Flat Earth. And it's basically a book of memes with a little bit of type in there. Not memes, just images that basically you flip through it. But anyone that picks up that book becomes a flat earther.
Wow. So what's next? What's next for you?
What's next for me is just to keep waking more people up and getting other people to wake people up. If you already have my app, it's the best way to wake up other people. Get them the app, gift them the app, tell them about the app, send them the link to the app. You can, if you have an Apple phone, you can actually gift it to them through the Apple App Store, and wake people up. I'm also adding a new feature. It's coming out by the end of July, hopefully, where there will be map in the app, and you can you can turn it on and off for yourself at any point, and it'll show you where all of the other app users are. So when you're a flat earther, it's kind of nice to talk to other flat earthers, but you don't know where they are. So you live in an apartment building, you turn it on, you're like, hey, there's other flat earthers in this building, and you can put a little sign up on the bulletin board, hey, flat earth, whatever. Or if you're going out, like I'm traveling let's say I'm in California and I want to go out and get some food, I can flip it on and go, hey, there's flat earthers in this bar over here, right? Go in there. I can send them a message. Hey, I'm the guy with the backwards gray cap on, bam, meet other flat earthers. It's going to be using their technology to bring us together when they want to keep us apart. People that freak out and go, I don't want to be tracked. You're being tracked by people that you don't want tracking you. This is letting us use their technology so you can find other people. You can also have it on and say, hey, put me in approximation mode. Don't let people know I'm within this 10-mile area. Don't show them exactly where I am. Great. If you don't want to know where you live, turn it off. I'm going to keep mine on all the time, right? Because I don't care. I want flat earthers to find me, because the other people that are trying to find me, they already know where I am.
I know you do a lot of interviews, but have you ever thought about doing a conference?
We do conferences all the time. Where we were planning a big one in Vegas just before this COVID thing hit, and that we had to cancel that. But we've done them in Denver. We've done them in. Did we do one in Vegas? No, we didn't do one in Vegas yet. South Carolina. There's actually one called Flattoberfest. It's coming up this October in South Carolina. If you go to flatearthfestivals.com, there's also a link in the app that'll bring you there. There's a big little window. Check it out. It's in October. It's going to be a 2-day conference. The first day is really a conference, where we have presentations, and the second day will be more of a music festival. It's going to be like 500 flat earthers there. Super fun, amazing, awake, awesome people, every single one of them.
Awesome. Well, Dave, this has been another enlightening video. You definitely dropped some knowledge on us today again for part 2. I don't know if there'll be a part 3. Maybe there will, but maybe not soon. But I would love to have you back on again sometime in the future.
Not flat Earth again.
What other conspiracy theories do you have for us?
Conspiracy theory. We want to get thrown off YouTube, but we'll say the event in New York, not a conspiracy theory. It's a nonsense, event. It's a complete media show. Mm-hmm. The one at the marathon, complete show. The one at the school in Connecticut, complete show. All of this stuff. And it's not theories. StopLookThink.com. Click the hoaxes drop down. Click any one of those events. Start watching, and then again, look at the information. Don't go, oh, what did you get your information from YouTube? Well, no, it's not on YouTube anymore, because YouTube has hidden it all. They don't want you to see it, right? Look at the information and then analyze it yourself.
Right, exactly. The information is out there. We just need to find it. It's not easy, but people like you are letting us know where it is, and we should go watch
and make it easy
for ourselves. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dave. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure I'm going to have you back on eventually on the show.
Chad, thanks.
All right. Take care.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.